So this next video is to show how to line out a sleeveless dress, but this method also can apply for a sleeveless bodice also. So anything basically that has no sleeves and you want it completely lined out, this is a very simple method to do so. So as you can see, I have the fusing on my lining. I have my shoulder seams joined up on my lining, and I also have my shoulder seams joined up on my fabric, and I've pinned it around the armholes and around the neckline. And basically what we're going to do is we are going to sew around the neckline. We're going to sew around the two armholes, and then we basically pull the back of the dress through the front. So it sounds complicated, but actually it's really, really simple. Okay, so to start off, so I'm going to start on my neckline, and I have a 1 centimeter seam allowance on my neckline, so I'm going to sew off a 1 centimeter seam allowance as I sew. Okay, so just using the guide on my machine, 1 centimeter seam allowance sewn off. Back tack to start as always. Again, I've put the fabric on the bottom with the fused lining on top, because I find that if the fabric is in any way soft, the feeder on the machine will automatically pull that into shape with the lining as you sew around. And of course, making sure all the time that there's nothing funny going on underneath, so I'm kind of feeling through as I go, and making sure to get a nice even round curve as I sew my neckline, because this is the finished line of your neckline. This is what your dress is going to look like. So you want to make sure to sew this bit really well and really carefully. And as I say, making sure that everything is lovely and flat underneath as you go. There we go. That's the neckline done. Trim your threads, and we are going to do the armholes. So this particular dress has a cap sleeve, but that's still considered sleeveless, so the same method applies. Sewing off your 1 centimeter, going nice and carefully, making sure not to stretch anything as you go. Keeping your seams matched and keeping them flat. And then the other armhole. Again, 1 centimeter, back tack, and this is my second armhole. Okay, and the next thing we have to do is actually slip into all of those curved seams. Okay, so slip in like that. anywhere that has a really curvy bit, you're going to snip in. Not all the way, but most of the way. Obviously the neckline in particular. And this will allow it to turn out nice and flat. And then the other armhole. Now what we do, this is kind of the magic bit. Okay, so that's what the dress looks like. There's the front, there's the back. So what I'm going to do now is actually lay the whole thing out flat. And put my hand up inside from the back. So this is the back. Sorry, I'm doing the wrong way around. So you put your hand up through the front of the dress. So there I am. There's my hand going up through the front, so it's inside. And then you literally grab one half of the back, pull it through, and do the same on the other side. So the most important thing here is that you do not have your side seams sewn up and you do not have your centre back seams sewn up. Very important. The only seams that you had sewn up beforehand were your shoulder seams. And there you go. Now it can turn out. And the next thing to do is your back row, because that will stop your lining rolling out to the front of your dress. Okay, so I'm just going to show you one or two of those. I'll show you the armhole one, and then I'll show you how to sew up the side seam. So again, the back row is a little bit fiddly, but it is well worth doing because it really does give a proper finish and helps hold the lining back. And it also makes it so much easier to press as well. Okay, so giving yourself plenty of room, holding the dress right side out. You've got your seam allowance here. See, there's your seam allowance on the back. You're working on your lining, and you literally pop the machine here, which is about 3 millimeters in from the actual seam where you sew, and you're going to just do a little back tack, and then we are going to work around the armhole, and we're going to try and get as far as we can. Okay, so I'm literally sewing a line about 2 or 3 millimeters in from the seam, which is holding the lining to the seam allowance. But again, making sure to feel what's going on underneath, because obviously now that you've actually got the dress kind of sewn together, you have to be really careful not to catch the layers underneath. So only try and go as far as the shoulder. There's no point in trying to go the whole way around, because you won't get the whole way around in one go. You have to go from one side. So from one side seam, you'll get half the armhole done, and then twist the dress around, and you'll do the other half of the armhole from the other side. So I'm working now from the front up towards the shoulder. On the other one, the first time I did that, I was working from the back underarm up towards the shoulder. So again, constantly making sure, feel what's going on. so you're not catching any layers of fabric that you shouldn't be, because it does get fiddly to get right up here, because when you think about it, you've basically sewn your neck and your armholes together. And then pull the dress out. And there you have it. There's your